I mean, it's high risk, high reward. That's the deal. Like if you've got a decent amount of potential reward here, there's a risk to it. This isn't gold that's been a proven store of value for hundreds of years now. It's not even treasuries, which have been proven store of values for about 100 years now. It's not that. It's been around like 16 years. This is still new. You're staking your entire company's debt, leverage, and financial situation on Bitcoin, and I don't agree with that.
Something for 16 years has consistently gone up,
And down very
but
quickly.
always up. If you look at a chart, all-time chart from left to right, it goes from the bottom left to top right. You couldn't ask for a better
That's
chart. You
not
couldn't
the,
ask for a better chart.
yeah, but I mean,
And
these
I go
companies are
back, I go
buying in
back to
now as a store of value for their own financial futures. And the fact of the matter is a severe recession in the next year could push it down 50%. That doesn't mean
it's a
it's going to
buying
go away and it
opportunity if
won't
it
come
goes
back
down
up.
50%, but it's
It,
it's it's not going to
sure,
go down
it is.
50% in a
But
recession.
in a recession, it might.
No, it won't.
That's what's
Because
happened in
it's
the past.
it
It's dropped that far before when we've had recession probabilities. A technical recession of 2022
it's
been that good
it's
for Bitcoin.
it's dropped that fast before when the high that it hit, the all-time high it hit was around 40,000 or
Right,
24,000.
right.
It has never dropped that high ever since it crossed 80,000.
Okay.
It has never dropped 50% ever since it crossed 80,000 or 100,000. The higher it moves, the harder it is for it to drop 50% at one time. And especially as more and more governments own it and more corporations own it, that means a large position of this is actually owned and held by large countries and corporations. Which means it's just going to be held and held and held as a safe haven to put some money. And the more that
Not
it's held,
really
the
a
higher
safe
the price
haven yet,
goes.
though. It's not safe enough to consider a safe haven yet.
It is.
No,
It is.
I really don't think so.
It is
It's not
because
low
of who
risk.
owns it and that the fact no one's going to sell it.
We don't know that.
We don't know. Maybe they all sell at once, but
But
then
we
who's
can
going to
tell
buy
you,
it?
we can say that about gold because we've got example after example after example after example
What
after
if everybody sells their
example.
gold all at once? What are you going to do then?
They're not gonna because I mean, they never
But
do.
they're not going. That's not an answer, and you know that's not an answer. That's not an answer I'm willing to accept on this show for our listeners. Not gonna is not
Based
going to
on
work.
hundreds of years of history versus the little over a decade
You know
that,
what I heard back in 2005? Houses always go up. It's the safest bet you can ever make.
right.
What happened in 2008?
That's my point. You're
I'm
making
just saying
a
you're
point that
you're you're saying the same thing. Look, we could talk in
no,
circles all day long.
no,
Everybody
no,
on
no.
this, if you've listened to our podcast for at least 6 months to a year, you've heard Brandon and I argue about this time and time and time again. We're gonna continue to argue about this. My opinion is Bitcoin can be used as a
So
safe haven. His
let
is
me.
not.
Here's a good example that you just brought up: the housing market. Houses right now are much further higher value than what they were in 2025. But a lot of companies and a lot of financial institutions were using real estate as a safe haven. And then
Correct.
2029 or 2009, well, not 2009, 2008, when the housing market dropped, that's when all those companies started going bankrupt and having a lot of issues.
No, so the banks went no, don't say that because that's not true. The banks went bankrupt because of bad subprime loans, giving loans to anybody with
Yeah,
no
and
with high
asset
risk investments, people who didn't have income, didn't have any job, you know.
and assets that were derived off of the value of the reset of the resale of the homes.
There was a lot more to it than what you're oversimplifying it to the point that it's extremely argumentative and a straw man argument. I'm going to call you on that.
A straw man argument.
So, but
Asset-backed derivatives are part of the reason why the stock market failed and the housing
But
market
there's that's
in
not why
2008.
Bitcoin is will ever go down like the housing market did. Bitcoin is a good safe haven to have. It's gonna continue to go up over time.
It's not without its much greater risks than gold or
All right,
treasury.
so now it's
You know,
much greater
treasuries
risk
right
than
now with the
gold.
government shutdown, everybody's screaming
Yes, it
figuring
has
out
a
ways to
higher
do it.
risk than gold, but it also has a higher reward than gold.
This is true, absolutely. Which is why I'm not trashing Bitcoin.
Okay.
But I think they're being too risky here. I'd rather buy Japan treasuries, which just hit multi-year highs, buy Bitcoin for a safe haven. Now, if they want to put it into their other bets category, like Google might do, then that's fine. But as a safe haven, it's too risky for me.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. I got one more thing covered before we get into final thoughts. So let me get into this real quick. We're never going to agree on Bitcoin. Let's just agree to disagree
Right.
here. All right. AI Sam Altman. This is the headline. AI Sam Altman and the Sora copyright gamble. Right? So what is this? What am I talking about? So OpenAI launched short form video app Sora this week, Sora, Sora, and users have flooded the platform with artificial intelligence generated clips of popular brands and animated characters. So the worry and the concern here is the startup could soon face a deluge of copyright lawsuits.
Okay.
A quote from Mark Lemmy, a professor at Stanford Law School, said in an interview, "A lot of videos that people are going to generate of these cartoon characters are going to infringe copyright. OpenAI is opening itself up to quite a lot of copyright lawsuits by doing this. So it allows you to go on there basically, and I could use SpongeBob SquarePants voice and make videos with that, or even
Oh.
cartoons and make AI cartoons using SquarePants." As an example, Rick and Morty, South Park, Despicable Me, you could go anywhere with this, right? So these have been used. There's even one video showing OpenAI CEO Sam Altman standing in a field with several Pokemon characters where he says, "I hope Nintendo doesn't sue us." And that is AI generated. There's another one that shows a fictional McDonald's mascot, Ronald McDonald, fleeing from a police in a car shaped like a burger. These are all AI created videos using Sora's app.
Okay.
McDonald's declined to comment on the news and the attention being brought in here, but and everybody's eager to get on there and mess with the Sora app and do all these fun things. Disney Universal have sued the AI image
I
creator.
knew it. I
Hold
knew this
on,
was coming. Go ahead.
hold on. They have not sued OpenAI yet,
Okay.
but they have sued the AI image creator Midjourney, alleging the company improperly used and distributed AI generated characters from their movies. Disney also has sent a cease and desist letter to Character AI last week, warning that startup to stop using its copyrighted characters without authorization. However, Disney has yet to comment or we have known about any lawsuit or paperwork sent to OpenAI about their Sora app.
Okay.
I'm wondering why. Characters are copyrightable, meaning third parties cannot use copyrighted original characters without permission. And Sora is primed to be a fresh breeding ground for infringement disputes. Um, so they go on, they talk about this different things, but here's what OpenAI has to say. OpenAI says it respects takedown requests that are submitted through its copyright disputes form, which allows content owners to flag specific content. Users can also report videos for copyright infringement and trademark infringement directly through the app. However, the argument against this is, I'm trying to find it here. Dun, dun, dun. Where is it at? Someone worded it so nicely, and I love the way they worded it. Um, oh man, I'm trying to find it. I can't find it here, so I'm just going to read what this has to say. That kind of argument would be unusual, according to Jason Bloom, partner and chair of intellectual property litigation practice group at the law firm Haynes Boone. Typically, third parties have to get explicit permission to use somebody's work under copyright law. You can't just post a notice to the public saying we're going to use everybody's work unless you tell us not to. That's not how copyright works. So OpenAI has opened themselves up to lots of lawsuits. Brandon, go ahead.
Yeah, and Disney once had a copyright on the Happy Birthday song, which is absolutely ridiculous. Just ridiculous. It's crazy stupid. Um, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of litigation. surrounding this. If I was Disney, I would just be looking for people who are portraying my characters and creations in ways that I didn't want them to be portrayed, or in ways that makes it look like it comes from Disney when it really doesn't. But fan art can do nothing but advertise for you. So I think they need to change their position on this.
We're gonna see. The app went live last week. We'll see what happens. It's only been one
It
week.
it makes your stuff more relevant.
I'm pretty sure Disney's got a letter and a lawyer ready to go.
Absolutely, they're probably already looking into it. It's probably already in the process.
They're probably already filing it. They got a
Yeah,
judge they paid off ready to go.
right.
Crazy, 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 crazy. All right. Final thoughts, Brandon.
Definitely say Campbell soup's a buy. I wouldn't scream about it. I'm not super excited
You
about
are
it. Campbell
screaming about it.
soup.
You're screaming.
Yeah, it's not that exciting, but it's a buy. I'm buying into it tomorrow. I'm not gonna go like crazy with it, but definitely buying into it. And yeah, I mean, really, like we had a slow market week this week and the week prior. So I'm just kind of waiting on the headwinds. I know somebody from JP Morgan said they're waiting on a pullback in the next 12 months. So what? 10% pullbacks happen every year. Big deal.
You sound like me now. You sound
Right.
like me.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, you said that the markets are overstretched, and even one person saying that's not a reason to not buy a company. So, yes, JP Morgan said that they're looking for a pullback in stocks, but guess what? I still think Campbell's is a value right now, so I'm buying it regardless. So,
There you go.
it's an overall macroeconomic commentary, right? It doesn't mean that the stocks that you're looking at are bad.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. All right, final thoughts real quick. Two earnings coming up this week that I'm looking at. First is Delta Airlines. They should beat. The news has been pretty positive all quarter long on Delta Airlines. Second, Brandon, I want your thoughts on this because you said that this is a turnaround play on this company. Pepsi is reporting before the bell. Pepsi, however, analysts are saying that they actually should be not beaten. They actually should be lower and but not horrible lower, just barely lower than estimates, citing tariffs and lower demand overall. Is that lower demand due to weight loss drugs? First thoughts, Brandon?
Probably that. Supply chain issues as well, tariffs,
All
things
right.
like that that'll affect Pepsi. And, I made a mistake because I thought that their supply chain plan a couple of years ago was good, but it turned out to be absolutely terrible. And, they got pulled off of some very large supermarket shelves over in Europe because of their pricing. They need to fix their relationship with their wholesale suppliers and with their retail companies. And hopefully they can move up from there. They're in a good position to make a turnaround. They just have to do it.
Right, they do. I disagree. I think Pepsi has lost the battle. I think they need to do more changes
Right.
to actually complete a turnaround. More changes is what I'm looking for in that company. Overall to their whole offerings. It's all too saturated in flaming hot and Doritos and chips and all these things that are they need to find a healthier brand or change what's in their chips, if you will, and snacks. Uh, Bitcoin is currently at 122,000 right now. It has already dropped from the high, Brandon, just so you know. But that's a daily move of Bitcoin happens every day.
That's why I
How,
say it's not a good use as a safe haven.
anyways, moving forward, with Bitcoin still hovering above 220,000, and I see it over the long term going even higher. Coinbase is always something to take a look at, but Coinbase is at all-time high, 378. Well, not all-time high, but a very large high. That's definitely one to keep an eye on. I don't see Coinbase moving too much higher, but it should help with a ETF dividend. The company that I own, Coney, is the ETF I own quite a lot of shares in. Be very happy to see a bump on Monday morning with that based off the Bitcoin news. So
Sure.
that's all I got. We thank you guys for listening. Please hit the subscribe button. As always, tell your friends and family. As we hope to be entertaining, educational, and uplifting because we want everyone to make money. Have a good night.
Have a good night.